Hey VC, it's Ronnie here. So tonight I'm coming to you with an all Christian metal update. Alright, I've been doing so many cleanings and stuff this last weekend that a lot of it was Christian metal, so I decided to put it all together. My last video was all 80s metal, so if you notice, I'm coming from a different angle tonight, and this piece of equipment, piece of furniture, you haven't seen in my videos yet. Usually my VPI is sitting here on a 4 cube. Well, that's not there right now. And what is there is this. And I will be showing this off in a future video. So over there is my VPI now. So yes, very excited about that. And it's pretty cool, So some of my friends, I've shown videos of a little bit of this, and I've showed it off. Some of you guys I showed it to before I got it and stuff. So, but oops, there go my glasses. Alright, so let's get going now that I can see you. Alright, so my first show and tell, Gazing at Medusa. Some of you have probably seen this already. It's an album that's been 2.5 years or so in the making of getting the vinyl pressed. So the CD came out in September. So it's been a little while. So with that, this is one of 3. That's the black one that I've gotten. Here's the other 2. This one here is gold bronze, they call it. It's like a gold. And then this is the gold and black splatter, signed my friend Jeff, number 137. I'm number 134. So these are the ones that were sold off of their website, and I still have yet to see my Kickstarter one, which I ordered, quite a while ago. So here's the black and bronze splatter. Looks pretty gold to me, but if they want to call it bronze, cool. You know, it's bronze. So that's the signed one that I have. I'm supposed to have one of these coming from Kickstarter. Well, it's coming from the same place, but from the Kickstarter that they did, and so we'll see when that shows up. So it's like the modern tourniquet, you know, it's not like classic tourniquet. There is a little bit of classic feel on this album. I put it on, played it through, didn't really have a need to play it again, which is kind of unusual for me getting a brand new album. I like to flip it a few times, but alright, moving on. So if you follow me on Facebook at all, and you do the Christian Metal Alliance, you would have seen that I've posted these tonight. I went through my mortification ones that I haven't opened up yet. I had a whole slew of albums that I've ordered the last year and a half that have just been sitting there. So Post Momentary Affliction, killer album, love this album. And great artwork on it. So one song that was not released on that album because the album was too long, they put onto this 10-inch. So this 10-inch has Ancient Prophecy and Overseer on it. So Ancient Prophecy came from Scrolls of the Megaloth, right, which was the album before Post Momentary Affliction, which Overseer, you see right there, came from Post Momentary Affliction. So then they added Time Crusaders, which you see came from that Australian comp, and then Butchered Mutilation, which came from another comp. So they had 2 comp singles that they added to this. Pretty cool 10-inch, like it. Alright, moving on. So Primitive Rhythm Machine. I had all the other Mortification before this, and I liked it, but excuse me, But this one really spoke to me. I really started liking the sound of Mortification here. You know, the last album, Post Momentary Affliction, I liked it, and it was going more from the death metal to the more grindcore-ish sound. I think that's what we used to call it, grindcore. And just, there's so many awesome songs on this. Love this album. Primitive Rhythm Machine, Killer, Toxic Shock, I love that song. You know, Gut Wrench, killer songs, killer artwork. So after this album came Blood World. Now this album was just total grindcore, and they had kind of gone away from most of their more deathy, just really heavy, and just got more into the rhythmic grindcore sound. I like this album. This album has just killer songs on it. One of my favorite is Live by the Sword, Die by the Sword. I actually, Monks of the High Lord, sweet song. So Symbiosis, love song. So killer album. If you guys haven't ever heard Mortification, you guys should look them up, listen to them. Really great music. So right now, this is the band that's playing in the background, if you can hear it at all. So this was their first album that I have. I think this was their first album, Sacrament. I actually like this album probably the best of all their albums, and just killer thrash. Good. I think this came out in 1989. Am I right? Yep, 1989. So this is just a really killer album. One that's playing right now in the background is this one, Haunts of Violence. I don't know this one as well. Maybe that's why I like the other one a little better. This one came out, what, 92? Yeah. So, but these were just released last year by Retroactive Records, and pretty nice packaging. The labels were really nice. They already came in like a poly sheath, or a poly inner liner sheath, like a knife, right? So it came in a poly inner liner, and man, if you've never heard Sacrament and you like late 80s thrash, there you go. So speaking of 80s, late 80s, Crucified, this killer album. There's the songs on it. This is just good hardcore punk influence, little thrashy, I don't know what to call it. It's Crucified, man. Just love them. And if you've never heard them, look them up. Great band. All right. Now getting into a little Deliverance. So I'd gotten these when they came out. I gotten this one. I think this is the red one. And then I got the black one too. Actually, maybe this is the red one. Let's open it up, see. The red one's kind of cool. Yep. So this one's the red with black marbling. Oh, it doesn't come out very well in the. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. I like this. So these were put out by Rocks, as you can see, and I had waited quite a while to get my hands on the original Deliverance self-titled album, because I never wanted to pay for an original, and now I'm trying to keep my eyes out for original. But this is one of my all-time favorite thrash albums. Definitely one of my top 3 or 4. You know, my mind's not working right now, but first albums from a band. So the debut, that's it, that's the name I'm trying to think of. So one of the better debuts of a band, and I love it. Killer album. So like I said, I got the black and I got the red. because sometimes I'm just a completionist like that. And yes, I've opened them both up and I've listened to them both. Now it came with a guitar pick, and I don't have it sitting here in with my other picks, but yeah, the printing was coming off and you can hardly read the Disciple anymore, or not Disciple, trust me, Deliverance. So you can't hardly read it. Speaking of Deliverance, here is their newest album right here, the Subversive Kind. I can't remember if I showed this off when it came out or not, but I figured that it was in the pile of stuff I hadn't shown off, so I figured I didn't. And so here it is. This album rocks. It is nice. Back to their old thrash, their thrash, and it's just great. This came out in 2017, I believe, so towards the end of 2017. So it's been out a while, and I've had it a while, and I've spun it many times. So if you haven't picked up this album yet, Subversive Kind, this is a great album. Keeping on Deliverance, they released The River Disturbance last year, I believe, right? 2018, yeah. So this is from 1994. It's a pretty good album. It's definitely not one of my favorite. After Learn, I kind of fell away from loving Deliverance. I loved all their early stuff up to about Learn, and then from Learn up till one of the next ones I'm going to show, I really didn't love them. I've gotten some of their stuff. There's actually a couple of their CDs I don't have, but I have everything Learn and Pre, and then everything from the next one on. So River Disturbance, decent album. So this one, to me, is their comeback album. Hear What I Say. This album rocks. This is a really good album, and probably within my 4 or 5 of the better, probably the 4th or 5th, probably the 5th best Deliverance album. I like it. I like it a lot. It have a cover tune of Where Eagles Dare, and I think they want you to know what songs are on here by how big the print is. Huge, right? So, and it's just a cool looking cover, isn't it? Alright, moving on. Staying with the Deliverance theme, Jimmy P. Brown, Eraserhead. This is a pretty fun, good album. Fun? Did I say fun? I'm tired. So, it's a pretty good album, and great music on it. So, this came out last year, 2018, yeah. So, came out at the same time another one did, and I don't remember, but Eraserhead, I got it on, I don't remember if I got it on CD too, but I got the album. I like it. And I think several of these are cool colored vinyl too. I can't remember. I'm not going to take the time to look at them all. So, speaking of great Christian metal, these guys are from Sweden, right? I believe they're from Sweden, because all great European metal comes from Sweden and Finland, right? So Extol, this is their self-titled album. I think this is their latest album. Do I remember that right? 2013. Is that their latest album? I don't know, but it's from 2013. I believe this is the only one that they have on vinyl. So it's brutal. It's awesome. And one of the songs on here, can I remember which one? Is it Open the Gates? I think it might be Open the Gates. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it has, believe it or not, a lot of Yes influence in the song. Yes, as in Yes, the progressive rock band Yes. It blew me away. I was like, hey, these guys have always had really good, brutal vocals, but awesome melodic vocals too, and then they are just tight. They are just hard metal, tight time signatures. Just, if you've never heard of Stole and you like heavy, fast, brutal music, check them out. All right, moving on. All right, Another European band, Theocracy. These guys are not brutal. They are very melodic, very just great metal. So the newer melodic metal that a lot of bands and a European, it's kind of a European sound, and this is one of their older ones. I have Ghost Ship, and I think this is one that came out one or two before that. And so As the World Bleeds, I don't know it really well. This is the only copy I have. I don't have it on CD, so I've listened to it a couple times. I've gotten to know it really well to a point. Great music. I like this band. They're really good. All right, I only got a couple left, and I think that I've shown this before. So Detritus, and I just butchered their name, but I wanted to show them again because this album has spent several weeks in my vehicle, and I've listened to it at work many times. So obviously I wasn't listening to the vinyl at that time, but I spun this here in my record player a few times. These guys, I had them in a compilation, White Metal Warriors, 2 songs of theirs, but I had never seen their CDs. I didn't know that they did any other music besides those couple songs for that album. Because back in the day, the only way that we knew about music was if it was at the music store or one of our friends say, "Hey, check these guys out. These guys are rock." So Detritus, if you like thrash and you like good heavy music from the late 80s, right there, get this album. You will not be disappointed. I love this album. I've been spinning it and spinning it and spinning it. All right, so my very last album. A lot of you probably will not think of this band as a Christian metal band, but this album definitely is. W.A.S.P. Golgotha. Yes, this album is killer. I like it. I've not listened to W.A.S.P. for a long time because their music really got to a point I couldn't listen to it anymore, and this album right here has turned me away, but not turned me away, but really turned me back to liking W.A.S.P. again. And if you guys know anything about Blackie Lawless, he's really turned his life over to Christ, and he really has a testimony of that. And let me read a little bit in here. So the paragraphs are kind of messed up. When they did the editing and the typefaunting, they didn't really do it very well. But I'm gonna read the last paragraph or so of this. So this album was recorded in various stages over the course of 4 years, starting in the spring of 2011 and completing in the summer of 2015. So that was quite a while. In between was the 2012 30-Year Thunder World Tour and one nasty broken leg. I broke my right leg pretty badly in the spring of 2013, and because of the severity of the break, I lost almost an entire year in the process of healing. On a positive note, the extra time gave me an opportunity to examine in detail the songs that went on this album. It was a luxury of time I've never had before in making a record. Although I would have preferred an easier way to get it, yeah, I'm sure. This record has been a total collective effort by everyone that played on it. A lot of blood was left on these tracks in the process. I've truly been humbled in making it. It's greater than myself, and I feel privileged to be allowed to even be a part of it. Looking at the totality of this album, it reminds me of seeing the handwritten manuscripts of John Sebastian Bach. John Sebastian Bach. Man, I couldn't read that. Oftentimes in the bottom of the pages he would sign them and add the notation SDG, Soli Deo Gloria, meaning to the glory of God alone. Although I do not dare compare our works to his, I completely agree more with his assessment of his notation. My feelings precisely. Amen. So, when you listen to this album, think for yourself. So, this album is a great album. There's the inner liner, and you can see the way the paragraphs were lined up. They didn't do a very good job, so it's really hard to read. But if you haven't got this album yet, get it. It's a double album. There's the track listing right there. This is a really great. He can still sing, awesome. The guitar work on here is great. That you can really tell that he's put a lot of time and effort into it. It's a really good album, so I recommend it. And that'll be it. I'm right at 20 minutes 50 some seconds. So there we go. That's my my all Christian metal update. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys actually checked it out. You know, I know a lot of people just skip through, oh, that album. You know, I guess we've all done that on some videos and stuff. So, but I want you guys to know, hey, happy Mother's Day for you guys that were out there. It was a great time for us, and I appreciate you guys watching. Take care, and God bless.